Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to our Crypto Hash Review, where we educate and disseminate information about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies from a Muslim perspective. Today is just some generic advice about dealing with cryptocurrencies and banks. Now, as you can imagine, cryptocurrencies directly threaten the stronghold of the banks of our finances. We have to recognize that banks have positioned themselves right in the middle of everything you do. You're buying, think about it, how many transactions do you do daily, weekly, monthly that does not involve the bank? Just think for a second. I know for myself, I hardly use cash. So that will basically means that if I do spend or receive money, it will be via a bank. And that's just not me. There are many people out there who get their wages, do their shopping, buy their clothes, use Amazon. Everything they do, the banks are directly in the middle. And the banks are getting their pound of flesh. Well, not a pound, but a couple of pence of flesh of your transactions. So any system which offers to take away their market share is obviously something that the banks are not going to be happy about. That's number one. Then we have the issue of surveillance, being aware of what you do, when you do, why you do it, with whom you do it with. This is necessary information for some people. And if not just the banks, the governments as well. The governments have put in place rules and regulations that regulate the flows of money. And they've put forward rules for banks to follow to make sure that money flows the way they want it to flow. So they can track the money flows and they can find out if there are any criminal activity or money laundering and a kind of thing like that. So any kind of system that opens up that risk, you can tell that's something that's gonna make some people unhappy. And it's no surprise to find that many people who have been involved in the crypto network have expressed difficulty in buying crypto from their banks. Whether it be, no need to mention any names here, but there have been some banks who have stopped transactions to exchanges, frozen money that is come from exchanges, and so on and so forth. And this is something to be aware of, that you're not a criminal. Bitcoin is not a criminal thing to have or hold, but it is something that they will make it difficult for you to transact in. That being the case, what would I advise as being best practice? Number one, I would advise not using your main account that you get your wages and you pay your bills with to send any money to a exchange like Coinbase or Swissborg or Binance. I would advise not to do so. Be in your main account, the account that you use for everything. It is better for you to get I would say, almost like a disposable account. So you can set up a bank account quite simply. You can use something like Revolut or Monzo, these little fintech apps that you can download and you have access to a bank account. You just give your details and whatnot, and then they give you a sort code and account number and you can transact. These would be better to use. So what you would do is that you would transfer your money from your main account to your Monzo account or your Revolut account or your Fire account or any one of these apps. And from there, you can send your money to Swissborg or Coinbase or Binance or any other exchanges. Now, why go to this effort? What it does is that it puts a buffer zone between your main account and the cryptocurrencies. You have no idea what will happen in the future. Someone may look at your bank account, your bank statements going back 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and they might see a transaction to Coinbase, a transaction to this one, and they will know directly that you've had interaction with cryptocurrencies. So the next question would be, do you have any Bitcoin? Do you have any cryptocurrencies? And then you have to answer that uncomfortable question that you may not want to share with these people. So having a disposable account allows you to have that buffer zone that you could, if you wanted to, delete that account one day and get a new account and conduct your business with your privacy. This is a privacy thing. There's nothing wrong in using your main account. You're not doing anything illegal, but it's just an issue of privacy. Just like, for example, when you sign up to a website and it asks for your email address, Sometimes people use fake email addresses. So these websites called 10minute.com or 10minutemail.com or something like that, where you basically just go there, it gives you an email that's only active for 10 minutes, and you can use that to get access to the services on the website without having to reveal your private email address because you don't want spam and that kind of stuff. So that's something you may want to consider. We have to be aware that's the nature of the beast. And the more insignificant banks will become, the more some of them, not all of them, some of them may resist. Now, some banks are actually embracing cryptocurrencies and are quite accommodating, but some are literally not. I received an email from one account which actually explicitly just said, we will not send any money to any crypto exchange, point blank. It's actually an Islamic bank, ironically. And one Islamic bank actually had the audacity to say, we don't deal in cryptocurrency because it's haram. Because riba is not haram, yeah? What you're doing isn't haram, but Bitcoin is. Whatever. Anyway, that's just the nature of the beast. So those are the things that I would advise you to do, just so you can have that added buffer zone between yourself and your crypto exchange. Now, you could also, and we're going to discuss in other videos, we should discuss in other videos as it relates to getting Bitcoin from people directly. And there's no problem using your bank account doing that. Just make sure that in the reference, when you're buying a Bitcoin from someone or selling it to someone, don't put the word Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, any of these things in the reference below, because again, you've just now informed the bank that you're involving yourself in Bitcoin, and then they may put certain restrictions on you, or may even throttle how much money you can transfer, or simply shut your account down. It's not unusual for one of these banks to actually shut your account down because you deal in cryptocurrencies. I've actually heard from people who had their accounts closed purely because they've sent and received Bitcoin and used their bank account as a means to exchange money. So it is what it is. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I'm not complaining. I hope you find this video beneficial. Please thumbs up to this video, subscribe to our channel, and may Allah give you plenty of Bitcoin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.